Hey everyone. Yeah, I started to talk about this. Now I know I did the video. I asked, what was the appeal of these books being adapted into movies, especially now with the 50 Shades of Grey movie out, or at least coming out. I mean, for some odd reason, a lot of people. Well, actually, there was a premiere last week. A premiere yesterday in several cities, mostly New York. But here's the one thing I want to talk about. Now, we all know that throughout history, um, especially when it comes to the MPAA, when it comes to rating certain movies and films, sometimes the ratings become very controversial. Some people feel as though this movie should have gotten a stronger rating. Some feel the movie should have got a lesser rating. But ever since the MPAA started, things like that have come around. In 1984, in the early to mid 1980s, from 84 between 84, 86, and 87, the PG-13 rating was put into place. Now, apparently, movies like, let's say, Transformers the movie was given a PG rating, even though people say in the commentary PG-13 was not there. It was there, but as far as an animated feature went, it wasn't considered for that at the time. In other words, things like Fire and Ice, let's see, Star Chaser, I believe, Transformers. These were films, animated wise, that were looked at as, yeah, they could be violent, but animated films could range from G to PG. And the reason being is to make them more appealing. And when one looks at the ratings up till now, there are certain movies and stuff that have certain content in them, like strong sexual content, strong graphic violence or graphic sexual content, if you will, graphic language, if you will, stuff like that. And sometimes these movies will get the appropriate ratings they deserve, or they won't. Now, I was looking up on Wikipedia to kind of see how 50 Shades box office wise was doing in its uh, world premiere weekend. Well, not world premiere, but it's kind of world premiere weekend before its official release this upcoming Friday. And apparently, even before the movie was going to get made, or even while the movie was being made, there was a lot of controversy that followed it. And when one looks at this controversy, they might agree with what some people say. Now, in the end, when the MPAA gives a movie a rating, unless there's a huge demand and a huge petition of people, signing petition after petition, unless there's some kind of huge movement, huge swelling, if you will, that'll get the MPAA to re-rate the movie and give it a rating that's more appropriate for it or less appropriate for it, the rating that the MPAA gives it is final. And like I said, that's unless people come out, back and give it a lot of backlash, petition against it, demand basically through a huge swelling, if you will, and huge movement that they change the rating to make it fit what the movie is. Studios are not going to change their minds. The MPAA are not going to change their minds. So you take a look at 50 Shades of Grey. And even before this movie was going to be released, it was being considered strongly for an NC-17 rating, which obviously would be the first one in quite some time. But apparently, the people behind the film, knowing that knowing the massive popularity of the film, of the book itself, of the franchise itself, had grossed a huge nationwide, if not worldwide, appeal, that to make it more, I guess, accessible and more appealing, decided basically that, hey, it's not going to get the NC-17 rating that you think it is. No. One of the people behind the film said, no, it's going to get an R rating at the most. And surprise, surprise, the MPAA gave it its R rating. And one would have to look at that and think, why would you do that, right? And there's a lot of people that when that was done this year, because that's when the rating was given, and even before then, people had a feeling that, you know, Universal, the MPAA was going to give 50 Shades an R rating. Even before then, and even afterwards, people criticized that decision, because basically what they're looking at, in fact, Wikipedia pretty much says it in the description, they're looking at basically giving an erotic film an R rating. It's pretty much saying that, hey, all those adult movies and stuff that are aired late at night, that people probably watch late at night, you know, on Cinemax and you know, Showtime and all those paid channels as well, you're pretty much saying that, oh, you know, they're in the same categories as 50 Shades of Grey. They're all R-rated as well. And when people, you know, and that's what upsets people. Because when you're pretty much saying that, hey, here's an erotic film that we're going to give an R rating to, you're pretty much saying that, hey, everything else that's erotic related, from movies to shows and all that, you're pretty much saying they are R-rated material. You know what's R-rated material, folks? You know what's the TV standard rating of R-rated? TV 14 is R-rated. Okay? TV 14 is R-rated. Why? It doesn't say TV 13, it says TV 14. That's right. 14 is pretty much saying that this is as close as you're going to get to an R-rated product on television than you would, you know, elsewhere. I mean, why do you think when the WWE was able to do this stuff back in the Attitude Era and even during the Ruthless Aggression Era? Because they had the TV 14 rating, which was pretty much the damn equivalent of R. That's what it was. I know some people may argue that, but that's the truth. That's the truth. Just like ECW is given a TVM rating for any of its programming that gets aired on the WWE Network or some of the documentaries that are made, they always get an MA rating. And guess what? That's pretty much saying this is an R-rated product. This is straight up R-rated, if not NC-17 rated. Okay, that's what they're saying. They're pretty much saying that the MA rating is between R and NC-17. 14 is pretty much saying we're between PG-13, if not a little above it, and more towards R. And the point I'm trying to make is, when you take a look at 50 Shades of Grey, now hear me out about one thing. I have nothing against the MPAA doing what they did. I understand that the reason they gave it an R rating is they want to get more of an appeal. They want to get a more worldwide distribution. They want people to understand that this is not that bad. That it's just a book come to life on the big screen, and it's just a movie that allows women, maybe men, to fulfill their fantasies visually through the movie, just as they did when they read the book. And I can understand and in a sense respect why they did that because they want to make it a more massive marketable appeal, especially when the movie hits Blu-ray and DVD later this year. They want to make sure stores will carry it and not hide it away. I get that. I understand that. But what one has to understand from the other side of things is you're pretty much saying, and this is where the controversy comes in, pretty much you have people saying, well, if that's the case, as I mentioned earlier, you're pretty much saying that all these adult programs and adult films that are shown late at night, like when we're asleep, are R-rated as well. That they're pretty much okay to be sold in stores if they ever get released on DVD or Blu-ray, publicly. You're pretty much saying that. That's how they look at it, and that's why that controversy still is there, even while the movie is being released selectively across the country for several independent several independent premieres, like in New York and in Los Angeles, before its official worldwide release. That's why you still have that controversy there, and it's a controversy that's going to keep following it, even till it gets released on DVD and Blu-ray, and even before its sequel comes out. Because pretty much there's 2 more movies based on the trilogy that's coming out. And I can guarantee you this. Like I said, I have nothing against them putting the R rating. If the MPAA wants to do that, I'm fine with it. I can understand it's to do a mass market appeal. I get that. But if they want to avoid this controversy again in the future, especially with the sequel, they need to kind of look in the mirror and say, okay, we did what we had to, but now we have to sit down and wait and kind of realize, kind of get back into reality and realize that, okay, we did what we did, we got the mass market appeal, we got people talking, but now let's get back to reality and realize this is not an R-rated film, this is an NC-17 film, or this is NC-17 films, period. So, again, though, that's where the controversy lies within, even before the movie's out, while it's having its selective releases, before its official worldwide release, and even afterwards, it's going to have that controversy, because pretty much a lot of people are saying that you're pretty much promoting that everything adult program-wise, from adult movies to adult shows that are shown late at night, to the stuff that's shown on those paid channels, are all R-rated and are basically in the same categories as 50 Shades. That, hey, they can be sold publicly. They can be seen publicly. That's where the controversy lies within. And I think the only way that's going to stop this controversy is for them to realize, okay, we do hold on for a second. That the only way they're going to avoid this controversy, I think, next time, is to take the sequel and say, okay, we're not giving this an R rating, Universal. We're going to give it NC-17 so there is no controversy. That's all they have to do. And if they want to, they have the power, the MPAA has the power to re-rate it, especially when it gets ready to go to Blu-ray and DVD, and say this is an NC-17 film. They can edit it if they want to. They can tone it down to make it an R-rated film so it gets sold. But you could also say it's unrated. You can unrate the damn thing when it comes to Blu-ray and DVD. That way you could say, hey, we don't know about the contents in here. We don't know about the this is unrated, so we don't know about the contents, but we are giving a strong advice. And I think that's what they need to do with the Blu-ray and DVD releases. Give a strong warning on the front of the case saying this is not suitable for children. So that's basically what I look at. And I think, again, like I said, I have nothing against them doing what they did. I know given with the rating they gave, I understand it was a mass market appeal. I get that. But I think to avoid this in the future with the sequels, that they need to give those the NC-17 treatment. So that's just my thoughts on this whole controversy involving 50 Shades of Grey and it's the 50 Shades of Grey movie. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll talk to you later.